Hey, White Bear Lake United Methodist Church. This is Gerald, and I'm here with composer Steve Milloy. He is the composer of Heavy, and we're glad to have him with us this Sunday on Martin Luther King Sunday. And I just wanted to ask him a couple questions, and here we go. So, Steve, the piece Heavy is obviously a memorial for George Floyd, but how would you draw that back to Martin Luther King?
What Martin Luther King was fighting for was justice, was to be treated as equals, to be treated as human beings. And we are still having that fight today. And there are people who are out there who do not see me as a human being. They see me as a brown, black skinned man who they think that they can treat lesser than. This is what King was fighting against. This is why George Floyd was murdered. This is why, we have these countless murders and these microaggressions that we're still fighting about today.
Right. And do you see any correlation or line story from Martin Luther King to George Floyd to the recent riots at the Capitol building?
Yes, I do. As I just said, the things that we were fighting for then that we thought that we had won, we are still fighting for now. Though it hasn't changed from 50 years ago to now. And as far as the riots that happened on Wednesday, if you go and you look at the pictures of the Black Lives Matter protests that happened during the summer, and the police military presence that was on the Capitol steps, and then you come to, this past Wednesday, and these people, they knew that this was going to happen. This has been reported, I don't know how many times on social media, even the president himself said that this is going to be wild. Those were his words. And they did not prepare for it. And so you wonder, why did they get treated differently than the peaceful protesters for Black Lives Matter? And it's because of their race. It just sickens me. In fact, yesterday, on social media, I posted, I'm done. I know I'm supposed to be working right now, but I am just going to lie in my bed and curl in a ball.
I saw that post. I feel the same way most days. I have a question about the composition itself. It's a part of the composition that has always intrigued me, and it is the place in the song where you begin a layering of music and text that was not part of the original poet's text. And the music is drawn from spirituals, from protest songs, from Motown. He's not heavy, he's my brother. That's a fun little line that you got to catch in there, but probably one of my favorites, nods to all these areas of history of Black culture. And I was just curious why you chose to lead with Hold On.
People say that We Shall Overcome is the quintessential protest song for civil rights. But in the time and the space that we're in right now, it's really Hold On. It's really about keeping your hand on the plow and staying steady and staying in the fight. That is why I chose that song.
So I guess if I had another question about the piece, it would be when you first read Mackenzie's poem, were there any musical ideas that came to your head right away just from reading the poem, or did it have to sit with you for a while?
Well, I will have to say, because the line, he's my brother, she's my sister, those come directly from the poem. And so immediately that song did come to mind. He ain't heavy, he's my brother, which I only kind of quasi quote.
Yeah, just a melodic idea.
Yeah. But, And with living with it, it took me a couple of days of just getting it in my head, and I kind of wrote it section by section by section. I knew that when I got to the end and we were saying that, we're marching again, and I wanted to quote, protest songs that you would usually hear. I even had thought about having half the choir kind of being a chanting mob over the music. But then I kind of thought that would kind of take away, and it would be a conducting nightmare, especially, since the first time most people are hearing this piece is through a virtual choir performance.
All right, Steve. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And
Hey,
thank you for writing such a wonderful piece.
thank you for asking me to do it, and God bless to you and all of your congregation.